Starring the not ready for AAA players, it's time to meet Ben Lesnick!
Hey everybody, I want to introduce a good friend and a guy that worked with me on a previous show we might be able to talk a little bit about. Ben Lesnick, how you doing, Ben?
Hey, not too bad. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too, man. I'm very excited to have, most of the core of the original show is back, and we want to bring some of that fun into what we experience. What kind of, the world's kind of in a tough spot right now, so it's kind of, let's bring some humor and some joy into what's going on if we can.
And the soul of the thing. You got the guys that did the soul of the thing, I think.
The soul. All we're missing is the Viewmaster, and his head is in the show anyway. For forum feedback.
It's time for forum feedback.
Forum feedback. So one of the questions, I know you're doing MVP this week, and we're trying to figure out where everybody's going to be playing in the show. And Ben, you've joined the cast, and flipping A, glad to have you. So one of the questions was about funding on Star Citizen, and I thought we'd start with the 24-hour live stream. What are your memories? What are some of your cool memories of that 24-hour at the end of the... Well, first of all, let's go back before that. Let's talk about Chris's announcement at Austin GDC, or Austin Game Developer Conference. Do you remember that?
I do. I remember we were working out of Richard Garriott's office downtown, setting that up. I remember basically just sitting there redoing the entire crowd fund the night before.
Oh my God, yes. And then do you remember what happened on stage? I went home and wrote the PowerPoint. I gave him three options, and like different like tenors, and he only read one. And he calls, "This is right. This is good enough." And I go, and he goes, "I wanted it to sound like this." I go, "Chris, that's option 3. Just look down the sheet." He goes, "Oh, okay." And then so we got to that. But do you remember we went on stage? He announced it. He showed a little demo, and what happened to our website?
Absolutely broke the internet. They hadn't even started calling it that yet, but
It did. It broke the website. I mean, it went down in 2 minutes, man, like that. And then we find out that Ortwin, our lawyer at the time, to save the company money, had put a limit of 50 people at one time being able to hit the website, and the fans just blew it up. And by the way, broke our website. It wasn't near ready for the traffic, so we ended up having to go to Kickstarter.
I remember the crisis meeting about that afterwards, and that was something.
Yeah, we spent. Go on.
Oh, I was saying I couldn't expect it at all because there was nobody in the audience at GDC. There was like 6 guys that knew Chris from years ago. Nobody cared. I was like, oh, this is going to be the last I hear about this project. But nope.
Oh yeah, well, you couldn't tell but the first indication of where it was going to go was the website crashing. Mm-hmm. But you're right. There were maybe 20 people total, and half of them were working the show.
Yeah.
And they all had the golden tickets. Mm-hmm. I still have mine. Do you still have your golden ticket?
I have a golden ticket somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I still have mine. And then we did a Kickstarter, and do you remember we had a really good Kickstarter fun, but then we came to the 24-hour live stream, which was like the last day of the Kickstarter, and we'd already hit our mark. I think we'd blown through our mark, and we didn't know where we were going to end up. And we were at Lightbox Studios. There were a friend of ours were going out of business. It's typical in the games industry. They were going out, and actually we ended up hiring most of the Lightbox crew as our first few people employed. Pete Mackey, Mark Skelton.
Really good group of people.
Yeah, lots. Really, they were good people, and they were in the space genre, so it worked out great.
They just done Starhawk, I think.
They did Starhawk. That's right, exactly. And so we were in there, and it was you, me, Chris, Sandy, Martin Galloway, David Swafford. We had a couple guests and fans come by. We had Garriott, we had Chris Douglas, who's our director, longtime great guy. And then we had like Michael Nightingale, I think one of the fans was there with, and he brought you remember what he brought?
I don't even remember.
The IKEA lamp.
Oh, right. The lamp we put up when we all went to dinner. And it made more funding than we did for its hours on that.
The lamp, he had put a placard on the lamp, and that was crazy. But we were and then come towards the end of it, we were making shit up because we blew through all the crowdfunding options, and
we've been like, oh, every $1 million we're going to make another star system or something, and we had like populated a bunch because we're like, oh, we'll have 10 of these ready, and then by the end we were coming up with the stuff live. And
yeah, but I think that was some of the fun. I think at that point I realized, okay, we got a tiger by the tail here. We got something to, and I was doing, if you recall, we were all in that one room, and it was hard to get a word in edgewise with our crew, right? Mm-hmm. So I went out, and we were on Ustream. That's how long ago this was. It was
no one remembers what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I set a separate channel out in the main pit area, and I was doing, like, I was running back and forth and letting the audience time how fast I could get back between the two, and it was just crazy. Then Sandy came out, and she was like a little parrot on my shoulder. It was just the greatest start of a company I've ever been a part of. And
yeah, it was so much fun.
It was fun, and then Chris came and said, Eric, you should do a show every week. And I'm like, dude, we're making a game. I got to focus on that. He goes, no, you can do that too. Okay, sir. And then it was me, you, Rob, Michael Moreland, Pete Mackey, and we basically the crew that's doing all of us for the most part. Mm-hmm. And every week we would just sit down and riff about either cool people in the audience. Right?
Nothing to show. We had nothing to fill time every week. So you'd ask the fan, what do you guys want?
So what do you have a favorite bit from the Wingman Singer? Do you have a favorite thing that we did at all? Favorite moment, so to speak?
I mean, I loved Hazy Thoughts.
Hazy Thoughts
every day. There were so many good bits on there, though. And it would happen organically. You would just come up with something when you were shooting, and then it was
not all of them.
We would talk about.
Yeah, that was fun. That's just because I'm ADHD nuts, right? Mm-hmm. But do you remember the lips moving? We sang Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
We did the Oompa Loompas, and then Rob refused. You and I were singing the Oompa Loompa. I think you wrote the song, and we're singing the Oompa Loompa song, and then Rob's just sitting there. We're doing the clutch cargo where just the lips move.
Yeah.
And then Rob at the end of our song goes, great. That was so much fun. And we were doing live streams in the office, mm-hmm. where fans would just come by. And I remember we were going to move to the Bee Cave's office. Mm-hmm. And because we only had that office for a year, the basement, and we were packed in that place, dude.
It was something, but so much character.
Yeah, well, there was. I think people appreciated that we were shepherding. We didn't have a lot of money. We were trying to do. None of us were making a lot of money, no. So we're trying to honor the fact that this is like fans are giving us money to make a game, and we need to be respectful of that. Mm-hmm. So we were in the basement. We were in the basement. And it was unbelievable. But the only problem was, like Mark said last week, if you got sick, one person got sick, we all got sick.
Well, that's.
But I was showing. We'd already procured the bee caves, and I was showing some people around the office, and fans were sending in like booze and chocolates and gummy bears or gummy worms and just nut stuff. And
I remember you with the gummy worm around your.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Yes. Much smaller me, and it was like, and then we were doing, but then I was showing this group around, and we had like beers and alcohol that fans had sent in, and I said, well, I think it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I go, do you guys want a beer? Do you guys want a beer? And they're like, no, that's okay. And I go, all right, that's cool. I go, so by the way, what do you guys do? And the dude goes, we're Alcoholics Anonymous. And I was right in the middle of the place over by Forest, and I said, so that'd be a no on the alcohol then. Insert open mouth, insert foot. It was crazy. It was crazy times.
It was truly.
Yeah, and then you made the big. I know I wouldn't do it. I didn't want to make the big move, but you made the big move to LA. And
I did, and that second year was nowhere near as fun.
You guys still did some amazing stuff, though. I mean, you continued on the tradition of talking to people and engaging the community. If I recall, I think you wrote a lot of the tenements of what we're doing in the crowdfunding, right? I mean,
I did early on. I came up with a lot of, you still see them using it, this whole how to sell individual ships and insurance and how to get people engaged in this and how to commit it. It was brilliant. I didn't know what I was doing. I just got really, really lucky. But
I don't know. I don't think that's true. You run a website like, what's your Wing Commander website?
WCnews.com. Yeah, I run the big Wing Commander website since 97 or so.
Well, and I think that because that's a fan-based community, I think probably better than most of us how to talk and be part of the fandom and what people really want. I think you had the ear to the ground more than most anybody. Now, we didn't meet at the Star Citizen commencement. We met before that. Do you remember that?
We met in 1999.
1999, and tell the people where that was.
That was the day after the Wing Commander movie premiered in downtown Austin.
Oh my God!
Because I'd been working with Origin on the fan site stuff, and they sent my buddy Chris and I tickets, and we flew out. We were in high school. I was 17, I think, and we did the premiere of the movie, and we got tickets to the after party, and it was, we were absolutely glamored by, oh wow, Chris Roberts, movie director. All these people we read about our whole lives were there, and they were people, and they wanted to talk to us. It was so exciting. And of course, Chris is going around at the party telling everybody what they want to hear. And he tells us, oh, come by Digital Level tomorrow. I'll give you a tour. So we did. And of course, he'd been out drinking all night, so he was not at work.
No, I got a story for that too, but we'll get to that. And and then I was there though.
Yeah, so you were there. You're like, I'll show you guys around. So we met you, and you gave us the very nice tour of Digital Level, and you showed us, because they had the Star Wars trailer at the end. So you showed it to us in the little theater there, and you showed us Star Lancer, and we were all like amazed by the bullet casings coming off of the ship in the third-person view.
I love that. Yeah. I got a story about Star Lancer. We spent a good 6 to 8 months of time of dev, really important part of the dev, on making a co-op version of Star Lancer, and you can still do this. But we put like extra threads in the missions where if you played with 2, 3, or 4 people, different things would happen on certain missions. And, we were really excited about the idea behind people getting together and playing this game together. And nobody played that. Nobody did the co-op when it came out. It was like, what? We were way ahead of our time. And that game was fun. Well, I remember Microsoft made us take the bodies out. Whenever a carrier would blow up, you'd fly through the debris. And we had bodies floating everywhere, and Microsoft was like, "Get those bodies out of there!" And we're like, that was the only thing they did. We had this really badass kind of World War II German propaganda box, and because a couple territories pushed back on it, I think Sweden and Norway or something pushed back on it, was too much like Nazi boxes. It didn't have swastikas or anything, but it looked that style. So they gave us this generic ass box.
The box sucks so much.
It was so bad. They came down. It was me, Chris, and Aaron, and I was producer and designer on the project with those two. And they came in and they said, here's the new box. And Chris and Aaron go, that's not that bad. I go, what? And they both looked at it and go, what about this says buy me? You got this really gritty, dark game in here, and we got the box. It looks like it's a ripoff of Star Wars. And then Chris was like, no, dear, calm down. It's all right. I'm like, it's not all right. It's crap. And so I was like, oh, fine. And so Ed Freeze, who was in charge of Xbox at the time, we went to E3, and he came up and literally apologized to me for the box being so crap. And I still respect that to this day. I'm like, and then when we released the Korean version, they gave us a badass box back. It's like,
I've seen that one, yeah.
Yeah, that looks great. It was just such a, it was an interesting time though. DA was fun. We had, and by the way, the tours thing, I ended up doing that at Star Citizen too.
Oh yeah, you can be office tours.
Yeah, when everybody come in,
Our attraction. We'd walk them through the office and like, you want to meet the Wingman? And just
oh
come
my
back
God.
here and poke my head in your office and like, hey, can you meet a fan? And you'd have your whole act. It was great.
I love it though, because I honestly feel, and I still feel that way, and that's kind of what we're doing now. Is we're kind of with the people. I believe that they were funding us. They're the ones who deserve they're the ones who deserve a voice. And right now, it's similar to what we're doing on AU, the whole AU Horde, or all of us show here. Is there's independent people out there. I know you've got something that someday we hope to be able to talk about going, but we can't talk about that yet. But we want to help independent creators find an audience, right? And it's really hard right now in the industry. So we thought this show would be a nice little way of us reconvening. I mean, we're all kind of doing this on the side, which is why it's bi-weekly. But I think we might slide into maybe doing a live stream on the off weeks and doing the other one. We got to figure something out to be a little more consistent. But for now, this is what we're doing. So yeah.
That audience, people will figure out. People are going to find it. They're going to see you're genuine, and they're going to be interested in your story. And
I think being authentic is the number one thing you can be. And I think people can see that. I mean, they can snuff out that pretty easily. I remember when we first started, people were like, Wingman's too enthusiastic. I don't believe him. He's lying. I was like, what? That's just me.
Yeah, they just have to get to know you, and then they end.
Yeah. Oh no, he's like that in real life. Yeah. Ask my wife. Why do you think she sequesters herself so often? That's the way it goes. Speaking of, how's your wife doing? How's Alex? She all right?
Oh yeah, she's doing pretty good. She sells. She's got a art store, and she makes does prints, and she's doing great.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, it's really good. Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. I know my we don't pay a lot because we don't pay a lot for this muffler. We don't pay a lot because we're doing this on a shoestring. So we're going to be running out of time here in about 2 minutes. So I just wanted to, wrap it up. Do you have anything else you want to say, or what the fans can look forward to, or?
No, I mean, there's nothing I can specifically promise now, but we've got some exciting things in our heads anyway. This is like getting in before the golden ticket if you're discovering this now.
Yeah, we're soft launching, really. We've not tried we've got some big stuff coming up. We're doing a lot of really small games right now. We're soft launching to see, do people they want to see this?
Does anyone remember this?
Yeah. Is this working? Hello, is this on? Is that going to happen? And if so, then we've got some bigger games coming out. Like I know we've got Halloween coming. We've got Mortal Shell. We got some big indie stuff coming, which will be they're all indie, right? We'll still tie into the smaller groups like Extinct, and to this one we do this one called Angel Guardian, which is a platformer, kind of a Japanime platformer, which is Sergio Rosas is doing. He's on the show this week, so it's all about indies, man. We want to help. We want to help them find an audience, and hopefully they help us find one as well. So, listen, I want to thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here, and I don't want to. I got to come up with a tagline. Join the Horde. Together we have a voice. I got to find something. I may give that to you. You used to write all the 10 for the chairmans and stuff, so you were the voice.
That was Chris the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, man, listen. I appreciate you being here, and we will see everybody on the show. Right.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. It's exciting. I can't wait to see what happens.